Hello and welcome. This is take 2 on all signs for Virgo season. This is the tarot reading. The other reading I did was, I was going to do both, but it mostly ended up being astrology. Now, just FYI, I did already do this reading, and for whatever reason, it's been like 6 hours and it will not upload. I'm not sure why. It's not telling me it's too big or anything like that. I've uploaded other videos that were longer than it, but it tells me that there's something in that energy. For one thing, I mean, I just confirmed with several other people that we're kind of having, it's like all the planets in retrograde except Mercury and I think Mars, but we are in the pre-shadow of a Mars retrograde. Either way, all of those planets in retrograde are kind of causing a similar effect that we would normally see with just Mercury in retrograde, is that there's tech problems and communication problems and delays and disruptions and things of that nature. I even ended up, I drove out right now, I'm in a parking lot where there's some light because trying to do the readings from the house where I'm at, there's just constant things and the energy's really weird, and something just said, you know what, go and get these readings done, but do it in a kind of more neutral place. Like, so what I'm thinking, for one, is that many folks may be feeling like, you know, if you're in an uncomfortable energy where it is that you spend the most of your time, you might be ready to start getting away from that as much as you can. Also, the what I'm thinking is like it feels like intuitive downloads are going to be coming through more thoroughly, but they might be a lot of messages that are like just for you. Like, I can't repeat that reading 100%. I did pick out the cards that I know that came out, but I can't know exactly how the deck was shuffled, and I can't remember everything that I said, and the reading even, I wasn't even able to go back and really watch all of it, and even if I could have, I think that it, for whatever reason, it's supposed to come out this way. But that's kind of I think that's part of the reading. I think that's part of the message that we're supposed to take on, is that some things may be a little weird, but sometimes they're supposed to happen that way. And sometimes there are messages that come through that we're supposed to see. They are meant for us, and either just us, or they're meant for us and certain people that are in alignment with where we are. And if there are others around us that aren't getting it, it's not that there's something wrong with us or something wrong with them. We're simply on different paths. I'm also getting a big pull that there's definitely some karmic energy at play. There might be somebody in our environments that are trying to delay certain messages from making it through to us, or delay people from coming and seeing us, or things like that, because the main cards that we got, Queen of Swords and the Six of Pentacles reversed, and this gal right here in reverse is typically usually karmic energy, along with the actual karma card, Justice. But a very cold, cutting person who will delay communication and abuses boundaries, is very victim-oriented, and it definitely abuses her power. And right there with one of the codependent cards, at least in reverse. Like in upright, that can be like spiritual assistance, charitable nature, things like that. But going like this, it's, you know, because that came out, I really have the sense that, to a degree, the fact that I couldn't get that message up, and half of the messages that came through with it, a lot of which talked about, you know, really, I remember I talked about, you know, we've got a lot of karmic stuff going on. If you're in this energy right here, either of these, it's not going to be a pleasant Virgo season for you, unless you're breaking free from those. But if you're trying to hold on to things, if you're trying to, like, you know, imagine that you've got sand and you're trying to hold on to every little grain before it stops out of your hand, you actually end up losing more of it. Like if you have a pile and you're trying to hold on to every last grain, you lose all of it in there. And that's kind of what's coming through. But it's interesting that that message was not, it was delayed and couldn't even make it all the way through. So pay attention to the signs that are going on around you. And if you feel like there's some sort of like energetic disruptions going on, pull back and reconnect with your higher self. There may be energetic disruptions coming towards you, but recognize that we're often only influenced by those when we are on this, a close enough vibration to do it. So if you feel like, you're being affected, like somebody's giving you the evil eye, or maybe you're involved in a situation where you're waiting for somebody who's in a karmic relationship or of some kind or situationship, and you feel like there's some sort of energy being spit at you, recognize that if you're minding your own business and you're focusing on you and you are doing your own self-care, that you're not going to be able to be affected by that energy in the first place. I just saw 5:55 on the clock again, which I recall also happened in the other one. That's 15, that's Capricorn and Devil card energy right there. So definitely, work on your own healing and work on auric shields if you really feel like you need it. But really, the best kind of protection and the best kind of, I don't want to call it revenge, it's not really revenge. Like, the best kind of revenge is not to get revenge in the first place, just to work on yourself and let people kind of do themselves in, for lack of a better way to put it. Now, I had also decided to start using these homophone cards in some of my readings, and I remember the ones that we got, which was bored, in reverse, sort of, and pause, as in adorable puppy paws, and whole. And I thought it was interesting, too, because whole, they use donut for the same thing, whole and whole. And what I kind of got from these is that there's definitely an air of childishness that's coming on for Virgo season, and Virgo season in particular has to do with the dichotomy of it's Vesta, so it's both the virgin and the prostitute, and we're also dealing with some strong Gemini and strong Cancer placements going on in the planets. Yeah. And I was just thinking of that. Some people attempting to kind of show off to a degree, but they're actually showing off the not so great sides of themselves. But what I'm getting is, like, now boredom is up. Boredom is a good thing. Boredom can create opportunities for creativity. It can create opportunities for connection. But when boredom, when we are dissatisfied in a negative way, we can take it to a really insecure place, and it can end up causing all sorts of disruptions. But what I'm getting out of this, though, because of the order that it came out in, where we have kind of this negative aspect of boredom, a real serious dissatisfaction that we really want to get around, and then this sweetness. Paws, puppy paws, right? Rabbit paws, kitty paws, things like that. It's kind of what it reminds me of. And even the fact that there's a donut in there, there's, and even this in reverse is still childhood, still a sweetness in there. So there's kind of this overarching theme of that sweetness. I'm also really curious to see those of you that find yourselves bored or playing with, maybe a stuffy or an actual, like, baby animal of some kind, and have anything to do with donuts. But I also got the sense when I was reading in these earlier that this, to a degree, is a loophole. So there's some sort of there might be some sort of a loophole that we see, or that someone else around us sees, on how to get back to that sweetness, that nostalgic connection, that youthfulness, to get away from some sort of dissatisfying situation. And with the pause one actually having pause on the back, I have a feeling that during Virgo season, we're really going to be in this kind of comparison energy, looking around at, is this really, whatever it is that we have going on, is this really what we want? Are we really experiencing the sweetness that we want in life? Are we allowed to express our sweeter side, to be free, to be whole? or to not be whole, to have holes? Are we free to have flaws? Are we free to eat that donut if we really want to, even though we don't need it, or it might spoil our dinner? And also, how are we connecting with children? Also, I remember in the last reading I had mentioned too, it's not going to be a good time for spending. I remember there was a lot of reverse pentacles. That's what it was. We had the Knight of Pentacles reversed on the bottom of the deck. Oh, that's so funny, too, because I had said that there might be some sort of message that's supposed to come to us, maybe including money, but definitely some sort of security issue that could be delayed. And then on the top of the deck, we had the Eight of Wands in upright, which is like that hot topic. And I remember the heart of the issue had something to do with wanting to break free. And that's really kind of this energy that we have for all signs going on, is like we want to speak up. We want to have freedom of movement. We want to have that sweetness. We want to be able to feel like we can be whole. And we really want to break free from any sort of limiting situations, any mean people around us. And it really feels like anybody that has been preventing us from that, or that anyone that is dissatisfied, is going to be really unappealing for that matter. They're really going to kind of reveal themselves. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there, just in case part of the reason the last one wasn't uploading is because of the size of it. I also did the astrology reading, and I already put up the All Signs Next 48, so please feel free to check those out. And it adds in a lot more information, and if you'd like to comment, you know where to do it. I leave my email in the description box below, and thank you for your likes, shares, and subscribes. I'll check you out in the next video.